They say
monsters
don't
exist.
But what if I told you they walk among us in plain sight? Imagine the chill creeping down your spine when you're
Alone.
the unsettling sensation of eyes boring into you from the shadows. Yet, when you turn, nobody is there. Picture yourself in a crowded grocery store, heart racing, as an inexplicable dread clings to you like a dark, dark cloud. Monsters are real. This is American Whiskey, and every Friday we get together for Sip and Solve, where we dive into the bone-chilling tales that remind us of darkness lurks just beneath the surface. I love that intro every time. Welcome to American Whiskey. As always, I'm your favorite host in the whole entire world. I may not be, but whatever. Big Sturge here. We also have Justice League in studio.
How's it going, guys?
Peanut's no longer going to be a part of Fridays because unfortunately we're losing him on Fridays. Other than when he can be here, some special Fridays he may be here. We love Peanut. Hashtag Peanut Rocks because it makes his day. If anybody has time to just hashtag Peanut Rocks, it will make his day. But we also have the new leader of Sip and Solve, Michaela.
Hi-yo.
Which I also like to call Michaela.
Yes, and also the mamas.
The mamas. Don't forget the mamas.
Don't forget the
Mamas is
mamas.
there as well.
Michaela, I don't know if you saw it,
Hey,
but
turn
our
it.
studio mascot was down here just a minute ago.
Oh no, I missed it. When you said our mascot is here, I looked behind me and I was like, oh yeah, of course Mama's is perching right behind my shoulder, looking over it like a little creeper.
No, my dog comes with me most
You said
of the time.
like a creeper? She is.
Yeah.
There.
She is a
And-
creeper.
And she periodically comes down here, says hi to us, but she hates us.
Well,
Aw.
so what happened was he started bringing his dog over and she fell in love with my wife. And my wife,
Oh.
we own two dogs, but she doesn't fall in love with dogs, but she
Yeah.
fell in love with his dog.
Because
So
she
Got it.
smiles everywhere she goes.
does. And
Aw,
they're two peas in a pod.
That's
So
so
we're going to do we are huge fans of wine, and I know it's American whiskey, but if I could go back in time and create American whiskey and wine, I think I would have, but we didn't. So we do love wine here in the studio. Burned Out Winery is not only a great wine, but they're even better people. If you can make anything better than the wine they make, it's the fact that they're just amazing people. And you see in the front here, we do have the American Whiskey edition of Tradesman, which is a barreled whiskey barreled blended red blend. Hopefully the Salmons are watching, they can put in there. I think we have another edition coming out, so we're looking forward to that. So keep an eye out for that. But we will do their commercial really fast because they deserve the spotlight. If you're looking for a unique wine experience, check out Burned Out Winery. Founded by a team of siblings who turned their passion for winemaking into a thriving business. They focus on crafting exceptional small batch wines from Moscato to tart cherry and spiced apple to their delightful sangrias. There's something for everyone. Each bottle tells a story, complete with a creative name that reflects their journey. Their wines are not only fantastic, but they're also affordable, making them a great choice for any occasion. You can easily order online at burnedoutwinery.com or connect with them on Facebook. They deliver. Whether you're local or out of state, they'll ship right to your front door. Support this hardworking team and savor the taste of Burned Out Winery. This is Big Sturge with American Whiskey. There we go. All right, guys. So before we get started, shout out Burned Out Winery. We're going to go around the horn. We're going to talk about what we're sipping on tonight. I'm going to let Michaela tell us what she's sipping on.
It's a repeat, but never old. It's the 40 Acres wine finished rye whiskey, soon to be available online in mid-April.
Ooh, it sounds delicious.
It is delicious.
Did you distill it?
No, it is my coworker and friend's brand that he started in 2020.
Okay.
It's put out through our distillery, but I like to help out at events with weekend like barrel pulls and things like that. So it's a product that I believe in and a person that I believe in. So it is like my everyday sipper. At the end of work every day, we each have a little pour, we debrief about the day, and then we go on our merry way. So it's become a daily institute for me.
Fantastic job.
Yes.
I mean, all right, fellas, let's pour a drink here and talk about the day. That's what we need. That's what we need. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Justice League, I know you're sipping on something today.
I am sipping on a natural light, but I'm about to get a glass and pour some of that good old Buffalo Trace barrel pick.
Ooh, you can't go wrong with that one. The Buffalo Trace is so whatever normal, but this store pick is super good.
Mm-hmm. Some of my favorite things are because we have so many liquor stores in Portland, just checking out some of the barrel picks. One of my coworkers is an avid whiskey collector, and he'll just pick a day and be like, hey, I'm bringing some stuff in, get ready to try it. And we just have like tasting days where we get to try a bunch of stuff that I'd never buy a whole bottle for myself, but after trying it, maybe I will.
Yeah, you know something, it's like what people don't realize, they're like, oh, it's the same thing. It is, but it's not, because they're going into the distillery, they're trying this many different barrels, and they're like, okay, this one's the one I like. They get that barrel, they get it's bottled, it's sent to specifically that store, right?
Yeah.
And
they get a fancy sticker.
Yeah, or but like a little chain around the bottle.
It's phenomenal. So I'm sipping on a Natural Light. Funny thing about Natural Light, I used to make fun of people that drink Natural Light, but it also is 30 cans for $15.99.
Can't beat that.
Nice. And then I'm also having the Senator. Dylan, I think that's your bottle. It's a really phenomenal drink.
I'm still upset we can't find the one that I wanted.
I know, dude. What can I tell you the truth?
Yeah.
Sometimes I, during the week, sneak some.
I don't care.
I'm just letting you know. We've gotten to the point where we used to like separate all of our bottles.
Yeah.
There's like 200 plus bottles down here. We have gotten to the point now where just like it doesn't fucking matter.
The truth behind that, I only got that bottle because I recognized the brand.
Yeah.
And I wanted they make another one, Michaela, called the Justice.
Oh. I mean, you got the,
I wanted that
so after bad. You or okay.
We're gonna find it though. Michaela and I will find it.
Well, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, send me the details. I will find it.
Well, the problem is it's a very, very small, limited batch they run of it.
Oh, so you're saying that we're
so
not
you're saying it's a challenge?
Yes.
And I'm going to succeed.
You know what? I'm about to look it up and send it to you.
Michaela and I are going to find it. So I'm really pumped to have some drinks. Talk about some sipping and solving. Listen, guys, it's the Sip and Solve Friday. We look forward to it every week. It's something where we can just get our sick brains involved into something. And lately it seems that we're really interested in Unsolved because that's where the mystery is lined. Mm-hmm. So, this is the podcast every Friday where we delve into mysteries and, into the mysterious disappearances or the murders, the unsolved that really just grab our attention. And today we're going to explore probably the most puzzling story that I know close to home, Marysville, Ohio, not that far, 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, depending on how you drive. If you drive as fast as Dylan, 30. But this is the puzzling story of Patti Adkins, Patricia Adkins, beautiful mother who vanished without a trace in 2001 from Marysville, Ohio. Now, a lot of times you want to trust your gut. You want to trust somebody. Sometimes your mind overpowers your heart. And this is going to be the story that you're going to hear about, that you've heard it before on Sip and Solve months ago. You're going to understand the fact that sometimes we make decisions that ultimately end your life, that ultimately take you away from a beautiful life, a beautiful job. She was a beautiful mother. She was everything that a human could want, right? She had everything going for her, and she fell in love with a married man. And today we're going to talk about it. If they're married, do not try to date them. It's not going to work out. And they're wanting one thing. They're wanting one thing. And, you know, guys, we don't want that for you. We don't want you to disappear. So, Patti Adkins was a really dedicated worker at the local Honda plant in Marysville, Ohio. This place has thousands of workers. It's one of the biggest places in Ohio that you could work at. And, people were noticing Patti talking to it sounds like this person was in a position of authority at Honda, maybe a boss, a manager of some sort.
Many people said it was flirty.
Yeah, very flirtatious. Yeah, go ahead, Michaela.
Well, from what I found, they both were in kind of supervisory positions because she had started at the plant when she was 19.
19, yeah.
And fast forward to 2001, she's 29. So one of the things, and we'll get to, but like when she clocked off, she's normally the last person to clock off. But because on the day of her disappearance, we had to, are you saying wait? Got it. We'll get to that. But so they worked on different lines, but she was also in a position of authority. So it wasn't at least the power dynamic.
So here's the difference between the two authorities. I believe that she was more of a line in charge of the line that she worked, and the authority position that he held was more of like the factory position. It seems like, he had they were both in management, but he was a bit high, he was a bit higher up, and he was a married man. He was a married man. And this is all supposedly, according to authorities, it's all speculation, but it's not. It's really fucking not. It's absolute fucking facts, guys.
Right. I wonder if he ever brought flowers to work.
Well, right. And she stayed over in his office quite a bit, a little bit more than she should. And
a long way around to get back to where they had to go.
Right. Anywhere they could spend time together at work. Why? Because he was a married man.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't go to Bob Evans for breakfast. They'd get caught. So the time they spent was typically at work. And, I'm going to...
Sorry, real quick question. Do you know how big is Marysville?
Marysville is not a massive town. I would say, a lot of people that are going to be listening to this are probably from the Springfield area. Population wise, Dylan's probably looking that up as we speak.
I know. Sorry, I guess I could have looked that up.
Oh, that's
73,000. No, that's Washington. It is not that fucking
that's
big.
Why I said we should.
I was like, shit, that's bigger than the town.
Actually, it is 25,000 people.
Okay.
So it's not ginormous. There's a decent amount of people there.
Yeah.
But she's talking to her best friend at work. She's talking to her sister, and she's telling them about the plans that she, made to go to Canada. And we're going to set this scene for you guys. Then we're going to go back and we're going to talk about it. But she made it with her boyfriend. However, On the night of June 29th, 2001, after clocking out of work, might I add, Michaela really hit it.
Yep,
She's
sorry.
normally the last one to clock out. Do not be sorry because you really hit it for the next part. She's normally the last one, but this time she's like 15 seconds after
Yeah.
she's supposed to clock out, she clocks out.
Well, and what was crazy about that is everyone said that they thought it was odd because the reason why she was always one of the last ones to leave is she would stay, clean her area, clean up her line,
Make sure
everything was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like you think about 15 seconds, so every place I've had to like clock in on a work computer is either right by the door or it's in like the employee break room.
Mm-hmm.
So not knowing the layout of the Honda manufacturing plant, like to be clock out 15 seconds after midnight, you're standing there, you're waiting for the clock to strike. Then you immediately like put in your employee number, punch in your things. Like she was waiting in line to clock out.
Yeah, and you know what's really after she clocks out, she mysteriously disappears from Honda from the fucking parking lot.
Mhm.
Witnesses actually saw her leaving, in her whites, which are the uniforms that are given to the employees. But here's the really sad thing. She's never heard from or seen it from again. She never arrived back from this Canadian trip. And I want to talk about everything in between this. I know there's not a lot out there, but Michaela, let's talk about the dirty details.
Yeah. So leading up to her clocking off, Patty had told her sister, I had conflicting sources on whether her family knew about her boyfriend being married or just her sister. But regardless, everyone who knew was not into it. She also had a young daughter, which this was wild to learn her name is McKaylee.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she dropped McKaylee off with her sister the day before, said, I'll come pick her up on Sunday when we get back from this week-long vacation that I'm taking with my boyfriend. Her sister's like, you deserve the break. Like, I'm not supportive of the situationship of your relationship, but but Patty had told her sister, like, he's totally going to leave his wife for me. He's already made plans. Like, they were already on the outs. So I'm not creating strife. We just happen to both meet and be unlucky in love. Like, she's a single mom to a daughter.
Yeah.
And she just finds someone at work that she really vibes with. And she told her sister, like, I found my soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
So her sister agrees to take her daughter, McKaylee. She's going to have her for the week. That's when she goes to work. She gets a ride from another coworker because she didn't want to leave her car at the Honda plant the whole week. So there's no car left behind. And this is also an aside, one of the sketchier details is she didn't bring anything. She didn't pack anything for a week.
She boarded her golden retriever and the kitty cats.
Yeah, she boarded all of her pets in a kennel. She didn't hire a pet sitter. She was like, nope, I'll just put them away. We'll have them taken care of at an offsite facility. So she basically created a no trace situation.
But she did create a situation where it seemed like she was coming back though, right? Like, it looked like she created that situation. I love what you're saying here. It's dead on. But I also look at it as a fact, that she was planning on coming home.
Right. She still had to pick up her daughter from her sister's house.
Her golden retriever. If she was going to leave forever, I'm sorry, but we love our pets, right? We love our dogs. We're not going to just leave them unattended for the rest of their fucking lives at a pound, right? You don't know what's going to, they're going to get fucking killed or something there. If you're going to be disappearing, you would set your daughter and your dog and your cat up for life. She was going to come and get the.
Well, Serge, that's like even when I go on a 2-day trip, instead of having someone go and let my dog out, she comes and stays here and loves it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, whenever I go on vacation, I have a rotation of like cat sitters. I have some people who have time during different points of the day that they can come sit with them. So people like to say that cats are antisocial or they don't need attention.
Not
Not my
mamas.
That's not true.
balls. I was like, it's
Not
not
mamas.
true. They get so depressed if no one's here to just hang out with them. So like sometimes like people feed them, other people come love on them, but it's like 5 people that take care of my cats whenever I leave.
Yeah, and you know what's really interesting? We go and look at these different moments, the different decisions, right? She I'm assuming that Brian, sorry,
The boyfriend.
the boyfriend, I assume, damn it. Sorry, guys.
You're getting confused with
Whatever. I'm not ashamed
the
of it. He's a
laundry case.
douchebag.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Dylan.
Like a man's a douche.
So you look at all these things that are going on, and in the boyfriend's state of mind, where he's thinking, I have manipulated her so much that she has told nobody. Like in his mind, he's thinking, I manipulated her to the point where she didn't tell a sister, a
Right.
best friend. Nobody knows. Nobody fucking has a clue. But he's dumb, right? Most men are. So what he doesn't realize is that she has 1, 2, 3 people in her life that know fucking everything about her.
Well,
Yep.
that's
Right?
just, I wouldn't even say that's just a female perspective. That is any person that's getting into a relationship. If they feel like they're falling in love with someone, they're going to tell their best
But
friend.
I'm gonna take it even deeper, Dylan. I'm saying that women are not liars most of the time. Women are not again, they're not typically the manipulator. They're not typically the one, they're going to tell somebody, right? They're going to tell their best friend, they're going to tell their sister.
Yep.
Because they're not stupid. She knew. Patty fucking knew in the back of her mind that something wasn't right. She knew it, but she was also chasing that love that she had for him.
Yep.
Right.
So optimistic, but also like
she wore her heart on her sleeve. She was hopeful. She was hoping. Right. Let's look at these situations. You know, we know for a fact that her and her sister were in Florida. They were at Hard Rock Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets him a shirt.
She wants to get him a shirt.
Yep.
Right? For his birthday.
Mm-hmm. She knew that that Patty had gotten him a phone.
Okay.
Well, the funny thing is,
why did she get him a phone?
Because
he was married.
Yeah, to hide.
Yeah, I was like, because he was married.
Is about what Sturge is saying is her sister actually told them exactly what the shirt was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, so we'll get to the investigation.
Yeah.
But
I know
you
we're
look at all these things, and this, I just want to set the criminal mind here. In his mind, nobody knows a thing.
I think he was relying on the taboo of seeing a married person, and he was probably counting on her having some element of shame, and having some element of like, I mean, obviously he was keeping it a secret. So he presumed that she was finding the same thrill from keeping it a secret. But for her, it wasn't an affair. For her, this was her soulmate. This was her future. And you talk about those two different situations differently. Like if I'm ashamed of something that I'm doing, there's one person that I tell. But if I'm excited about something, but it's like kind of hush hush, there's like 3 people I would tell.
Okay, so we're going to pause for a hot second because I think this is a great spot to throw Schoolhouse Farms commercial in. All right, can we do that real quick? Schoolhouse Farms, you don't know who that is. This guy is the best farmer in Ohio, maybe the United States. I don't know all the farmers in the United States, but this guy's awesome. He makes kettle corn. He does the dip and stick. Yes, sunflower oils. He does. If you're a moonshiner or a brewery, this guy makes it. He ships it. It's the best. Let's hit it real fast. Discover the taste of freshness at Schoolhouse Farms. Join Vaughn Davis and Beth Cole, passionate bird watchers and friends from York County, Maine, as they transform their love for nature into a thriving business. Since 2016, they have been dedicated to growing and distributing premium sunflower kernels, oils, gourmet popcorn, and heirloom grain products like corn, flour, and grits. What do they offer? Birdseed suppliers, high quality black oil sunflower seeds for local markets. Food retailers, a selection of sunflower oils, roasted kernels, gourmet popcorn, and heirloom cornmeal. Online shoppers enjoy gourmet popcorn and confectioned sunflower kernels from the comfort of your home. Floral markets, stunning sunflowers for Ohio-based florists. Distillers, specialty grains for brewing and distillation. Popcorn vendors, are you a kettle corn vendor? Talk to Vaughn or Beth about supplying your business with the lowest cost, high quality mushroom popcorn in the industry. Taste the difference. Customers can shop for delicious sunflower kernels, popcorn, flavored oils, and heirloom cornmeal and grits directly on their website or at selected retail stores and farmers markets across Ohio, Indiana, Maine, and New Hampshire. Their name pays tribute to the historic Freysinger School, built in 1862 on Davis Farms property. This one-room schoolhouse has a rich history, having served the community until 1939. Are you ready to connect? If there's an exciting opportunity to discuss, they would love to hear from you. Follow Schoolhouse Farms on Facebook today and become part of the community. This is Big Sturge with American Whiskey. All right, guys, everybody's wanting to know where the heck Doug's at. Doug, you guys should know by now, Doug slips and slides whenever he wants, okay? We love the guy. He's our best friend. He shows up when he can. Great family man. I've known that guy for so long. So, guys, we just got, done talking about, who Patti has told. And, again, I still think in his mind, in Brian's mind, he's thinking that she has told nobody, right? She has told nobody. And because he thinks he's that good, he thinks he's better than anyone in her fucking family. But she has, right? She's made those gestures of purchasing. Now, if you guys remember correctly, she was even at this point, I think for most of this relationship, she was giving money.
Yes.
Michaela, do you want to hit on that, or is there anything that I'm missing before we dive into this investigation? I want you to take over for a minute.
No, I think this is a good point to kind of bring up the money, because in terms of who she would tell, I don't know if I know at least she told her sister, but one of the terms, or his terms, of him leaving his wife is he and his wife owned a side business, and he told Patti that he needed money to buy himself out of the business. Otherwise, if they got divorced, he would be on the hook for half of it. So he said that he was looking to try and be able to buy himself out. That way he could be free and clear. Like, it's all hers. There you go.
Which is crazy, right? Because
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Don't apologize, Sturge. It's not last Tuesday. You can interrupt me now.
Amanda and you had me on tip top shape. I'm telling you.
Dude, Sturge, I'm going to cut in real quick. Real quick. That was the plan. But didn't they actually use that money to expand the business later?
Well, so here's what I was going to hit on. I think great question, because here's the thing. They have no idea what the fuck they did with the money.
No.
Business.
But here's what I look at. So remember, he's manipulating, right? This woman has worked 10 years at Honda. Started there at 19. She's 29. Do you know how much money she was setting up her future for her daughter and her? Right?
And working in a manufacturing place, like, that's probably a union job. They probably have
here's the thing, though, Michaela. They had their own pension. Honda back in the day had their own pension. And so she goes to the bank. Even the teller was interviewed. Like,
Yep.
are you sure you want to take this money out, or her financial advisor, or whatever? And they're like, yeah, So she's taking out sums of money at different points of time, giving it to him.
She took out a second mortgage on her house.
You're fucking silly if you don't think that wife knew a fucking thing about it. You are
Absolutely. Where does
silly.
she think he's getting all of this money?
Well, so Gordon hit this earlier and we didn't bring it up.
Pop it up on the
But
screen.
one big reason why it was so hard for them to find out stuff about the workplace is because Honda is so big, they're considered an international trade zone.
Yeah.
Because they are like a foreign car company.
Yes.
But it's
one of the
so
things is
big. Like it is bigger than I live in Northridge. It's bigger than Northridge. So you look at these factors and you kind of think to yourself, okay, so there's the money. The police don't know any of this. So when the week so it gets to a point. I'm gonna read my notes here. I put here, that she's supposed to leave for what, a week, guys? I think it's around a week. And I think
Friday to the following Sunday, because she
so
was
that would
supposed
have
to
been
on Sunday.
June or
Would have been
July 8th. Yeah, July 8th. Thank you. Patty fails to pick up her daughter. She doesn't show up to pick up her daughter. Not a big deal. The sisters think, deep down, the sisters like, well, fuck, because
I mean, international travel. They're driving out to a remote.
But what does the sister know, Michaela? The sister knows, the work friend knows this detail. When I get off work, I'm going to have to get under the brand new tonneau cover, which we might add. I took my note here. June 26, 2001, the boyfriend ordered a brand new tonneau cover for a pickup that he never drove. And that was put on the day before they even fucking did this. So the sister and the friend know that, we're talking before the police even find out. She doesn't pick up her daughter, so she's a little flustered. She's probably worried because she knows that she left her job and went into a pickup truck of her fucking married boyfriend that had a freshly put on tonneau cover. Why would you do that? Why would you tell a girl that you work with, make sure you don't sit in the passenger seat, baby?
Right.
Make sure listen, it's a fresh tonneau cover.
Well, and so
the best tonneau cover. Get in the tailgate.
Well, and what's crazy is she caught a ride in with a coworker because she didn't want to leave her car there. But the thing with her boyfriend is he always had a coworker ride home with him. Why would he not just tell the coworker, hey, I can't give you a ride home. Figure it yourself out this time.
Because
that's why she was ready at the clock to clock out, because she had to clock out, go to the parking lot, get in the bed of his truck under the cover before anyone else saw her. That was their plan. I think,
Michaela, that's perfect. But is it that hard to believe? How many people have you heard say, I'd kill a motherfucker for them? How is it easier to dispose? Okay, here's my question. Did he ask her to hide underneath that tonneau cover to hide him from her friend, or the 3,000 people getting off that shift?
I mean, probably both.
Here's my thought process. Here's my thought process, though. They both are liars.
Yes.
Because here's why. We're jumping a little bit, but I think it's okay. This case, it's okay.
Yeah.
And here's why I think at the moment in her brain, I think she knew that both of them knew that she was going to be under there. But what I think is he didn't want people to see her leaving there or seeing her at any point in time. So at one point they stop at, I think it was Burger King.
Ooh, so the Burger King was so supposedly, because going back. So from the time that they clocked out,
we have to keep jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I know, because there's so much that,
I was about to say, Michaela, I have the timeline from the police actually driving it. Do you want me to hit the timeline, or do you know it?
No, let Michaela. Michaela, go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say here.
So from what I could find, the timeline between when they clocked off and when the boyfriend got home was 2.5 hours. The boyfriend corroborated that said that it took that long because after they clocked off, they decided to go to the Burger King drive-through because typically, like, I've worked fast food and I've worked graveyard shift before. After 11 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock, the lobby is closed and it's drive-through only. So if they were getting off work at midnight, they would have had to go through the drive-through. And the manager of that Burger King was actually interviewed and said that there was no possible way that they would have sat in the drive-through line for 45 minutes. And I would tend to agree, because the only time that something like that would happen is like the thing that took the longest to cook at McDonald's was the crispy chicken when I worked there. And it took like, I know, it's so good. Oh, it's so fucking good. But that takes 6.5 to 7 minutes to cook. So, but like late night, you're not really cooking stuff to have a par in your cabinets because that shit can just die in the drawer.
Oh yeah.
But
So if someone shows up, hold on, almost done. If someone shows up and like wants a chicken sando, then sometimes they're like, sorry, that'll be just a little while. Can you pull forward, like pull into the drive-through waiting zone? And then you get the other customers who have like a large drink and like smaller orders out of the way. Like there's no way that you would have.
They're getting a sweet tea. You know what I mean? They're getting a sweet tea. So bam, 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 bam. But remember, it's super late at night, and I'm biting the bullet here, Michaela. I don't mean to try to interrupt here, but what I want to hit here, there's no fucking way they sat there for 45 minutes. There's no way.
Because
there were 4 employees on shift at night.
Yes, which is crazy for
They
graveyard.
all said the longest wait they would have waited was no more than 10 minutes. There's just no way. Because Michaela just told you. She worked at McDonald's. The longest meal you're going to wait for is the McChicken, right? And it's going to take 6 minutes. They know.
It's like crispy chicken. McChicken takes like 3. No, you're good. You're good. I just didn't want to get misquoted and sued.
McCrispy. Okay, the McCrispy. Okay, but maybe it's the spicy chicken sandwich at Burger King. Those workers know there was nobody in line. But I know it's going to take no more than 10 minutes.
Can I hit that timeline a little more?
But here's what I think is the most interesting thing. Yes, I want you to hit that timeline. But here's what I think the most interesting thing is. Why the fuck would the passenger in that truck lie? Because he knew what was happening, or it had already. Do you really fucking think Patti Adkins is sitting there in this back of this truck
for 45 fucking minutes in a Burger King drive-through?
No way, dude.
So here's the thing. It was never the passenger who, like the coworker friend, never fully corroborated the 45-minute stay in Burger King. Like, as far as I knew, all I could find was that, yes, he gave me a ride home.
Nah, I thought he did. I thought
he actually
I thought
did.
He did. He actually lied. He lied to investigate. Yes.
But here's where it's fucked up.
He corroborated that story.
So the police,
from what I know.
So the police actually backtracked all this. They started from Honda, and they even gave it a little grace period.
Right.
They drove, say they started at 12:15 to that McDonald's or Burger King, whatever. It took them about 42 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
That's following speed, which, you know, not all people do.
Nobody does.
So following speed limits and everything took them 42 minutes.
Guaranteed Brian didn't.
So say you're sitting, give or take 1 a.m. He didn't get home, and they said 45 minutes.
Yep.
So you're looking at 1:45. They lived close to each other.
Right.
What happened to that 45-minute span that's uncalled for?
Right.
I'll tell you what happened. I'll tell you why. I mean,
it's an hour and a half, really, that we're talking about.
Because they were fucking killing somebody.
Yeah, we're talking about an hour and a half because they didn't wait for 45 minutes, and it didn't take them 45 minutes.
So I argued with somebody off of the Patti Adkins page. When I did I used to have a podcast called Review Report, and I used to investigate this episode or this case specifically.
Yeah.
And they were like, "There's no fucking way the friend knew." I'm like, "Why? What makes you say that?" And she's like, "Nobody would do something like that." And I was like, "You think he fucking would buy a tonic cover a couple days prior, put it on, do all this shit? Why don't you think that his best friend would fucking help cover it up?" Like, there's no way in my eyes. There's no way where He did not go to Burger King for 45 minutes. End of story.
Yeah, that's
did
been
not.
corroborated by the
What
Burger
did they do? What did they do?
that took 2.5 hours before they finally got home.
I mean, Levi's not the smartest guy, but I guarantee. Levi, am I wrong? What? Are you listening?
Have you ever waited in a fast food drive-through for 45 minutes?
Yes, I
No,
have.
I
actually.
could, so here's
have.
That's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
well,
I
here's
have
the other
actually.
thing. It's like I have waited
Not with
for
the
like a
chicken
long
trunk.
time.
No.
Like I've waited for like a while if it's the only place open. But if I'm waiting 45 minutes and I get like maybe 10 minutes to get in line, but that obviously is not what happened. So 45 minutes from maybe 5 minutes to get ordered. So you're waiting 40 minutes for your food. How much fucking food are you getting? And why do you not just like leave? Like just leave. Because it's Burger King. How much money did you actually spend? And how much time are you wasting just fucking sitting there?
Yeah, you
I
can
would
go
give
home and
up
get
and go
some
somewhere else.
chicken patties in the microwave.
Exactly.
Maybe he was ordering food for the long drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So-
the long drive.
So I do want to start diving a little bit into why the police kind of get involved, right? So
Yep.
the sister. So what? I'm trying.
So,
I've been drinking.
No,
so,
I got you.
So
Can
guys,
you want me to
so
take it a little bit?
what should I let you do, or can I?
I mean,
I-
you can. It's
So
up
the
to you.
sister says, "Hey, look, it's noon. Sis hasn't picked up her daughter yet, right?
Yeah.
So a few hours pass by. She knows what she's been told.
Right.
She knows what she's been told. So she's probably at noon. First off, she's probably sweating bullets that whole week. End of story. She's probably
Right.
sweating bullets that whole week. So when she doesn't show up at noon, she's
Mhm.
up 1, 2, 3. We're talking hours, guys. Hours. So what does she do that night? She calls Brian, or
Boyfriend.
we call the suspect, the boyfriend, whatever you want to call it. And where's my fucking sister at? What do you mean?
And he says, "What are you
Well,
talking?"
the first time she
So
calls
Michaela,
the
take
house,
over.
yeah. So the first time she calls the house, the boyfriend's wife answers.
Mhm.
And the sister knows the situation and she's not trying to throw her sister under the bus. So she says, "Oh, I'm just looking for so and so." And the wife says,
Yeah, I thought she was a customer for the auto shop.
for the but yeah, she calls their business. The wife answers. She's like, "Oh, I'm looking to talk to so and so." And the wife says, "Oh, he'll be back in a little while." So at first the sister feels like a sense of relief. She's like, "Oh, okay, they just haven't made it back. Like my sister is still with him. Like maybe he's just dropping my sister off. So like I don't have to worry about it." So that call tamps down some of her anxiety. But then she doesn't receive a call. She keeps calling her sister's house. And instead of
Yep.
waiting an hour, she's calling every 30 minutes. She's calling every 15 minutes. She's just hitting redial.
She
She's
knows.
spiraling. And she knew all of the, like, she knew everything.
If you listen to that
Patty had
interview they did
to-
with her, she said, "I knew she was dead at that point."
Well,
Yeah.
she said that after she talked to the suspect.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Michaela even said that, like, the first time she called,
Yeah.
it was as she was a customer.
Yep.
She knew.
Well, I think,
And the
correct me if I'm
fucking
wrong
thing,
here, her direct quote, once she talked to the suspect and he said, "I don't know what you're talking about," she said,
Well,
"At
Michaela,
that moment, I knew she was
I can
dead."
already tell Michaela's going to hit on that part. I can
Yeah.
already tell. Yeah, hit it, girl.
because one of the fucked up things is after she called the business, talked to the wife, she was like, "Okay, my sister will be home soon." So she starts calling her sister's house again. And on one of the calls, that's when the suspect fucking answers at
Mhm.
Patty's house.
Yep.
And so he starts talking to her and she's like, "Oh, Patty." And he was like, "Oh, you mean Patty from work?" She's like, "No, the Patty whose fucking phone you're on." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I was just checking on her place because she's like, got," and then he like hangs up, goes back to his house. So she calls the business again, which is their house phone, talks to the wife again. And she's like,
Time out. I'm gonna interrupt here.
Yep.
I have to, because I know this case inside and out. And are
Yeah.
you positive that he answered it at her house?
I thought he answered.
So on
his-
one of the So on one of the podcasts that I listen to, because I listen to a
What
number
was
of
the
them,
podcast you listened to?
it's called Crime Junkie. I'll send you the link
What's the
right
crime?
below.
Oh, you don't have to. I know that episode. I know that. Yeah, it's the two girls. They're great.
They're
Yeah.
actually
So
Yeah, they're
maybe
really,
I'm
really good.
misremembering like one of the things, but I thought that in the term of them like talking about the number of times that the sister called, like at one point he answered the phone at Patty's house.
I don't remember. Dilly, do you remember that part?
well. To be fair, we were kind of schmammered when we watched the episodes.
First off,
I will.
I'm
we
not
can-
trying to brag here. I know this case inside out. Am I wrong?
No, and I fully believe that you know it
But
more than I do.
I think that God damn, if that's the case, Michaela.
Yes. Off air, I will find the timestamp of where I think they're talking about that just for future reference. But I am also totally fine putting aside that he answered the phone at Patty's house. But the next time that the sister
put it to the
gets
side.
to, what's that?
It's bothering me. I can't put it to the side.
Well, I don't want to listen to the podcast and then figure
I know we can't do
Yeah,
that.
I was like,
We're not allowed.
hold 1 minute. I was like, you guys keep talking.
No, okay. But so from what I remember is she
go.
called that house late at night.
Right.
The Brian answers. Fuck Brian. Brian answers and says like, hello, and like, she's like, I think
Where's
the
the
sister was
fucking
really
my
upset. Where's my fucking sister? Who's
Yeah.
your sister? And he was asking questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
To see what you knew.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. It was a fact-finding mission because he talked, like her sister talked to both the wife, because the first time, or I think it's this time when she talked to the wife, she spilled the beans about the affair, the vacation, everything.
Yes.
So I think the second time, hi mamas, the second time she called the
How you
business
doing, girl?
after getting that initial kind of relief. But then when she started getting worried again, she called the business again. The wife answered again. And she was like, look, here's the fucking situation. Your husband has been fucking my sister. They were supposed to go on this vacation. My sister never showed. Oh, look at that fucking doggo. Oh my God, so
Good girl.
cute. I just want to show Mama's has also showed up. So we both get some mascot snuggles.
First off, this is the original mascot.
No, I understand. I'm not Lady Meowington is not.
Mom is also like 14, so
Yeah, she old. She's the matriarch of the podcast.
that's kind of fucking smacking the lips. All right, so keep
Cute.
going. Sorry.
Okay,
It was
so
that. Okay.
oh yeah, she has
He
things
said,
to
I roll this
say.
roll.
Anyways.
So second time, sister calls the business. Wife answers again. She lays everything out. She's like, this is why I'm still calling. I'm not a customer. I'm worried about my sister. Been in a relationship for about a year. Like all of this stuff. And the wife is like, oh, what? Pretending? Well, I'm not even saying pretending. I think maybe pretending. But it seems that
She
the
was
wife,
absolutely fucking pretending.
I know. But it seems like the wife was unaware of the affair. Kept asking her questions like to qualify, be like, are you sure? Like, what about this? What about this? And her sister, in her state of
Grief.
like, upset and grief and just like, what the fuck is going on? She's just like answering all of these questions, hoping to get more information. But all that she's doing is giving information. So then after a while, she's like, okay, well, you better talk to my husband.
Mhm.
So then that's when the husband goes on. And he's like, oh, Patty? You mean Patty from work? Oh, I don't really know her and all this. And her sister starts being like, I know that you did this, and I know that you did this, and I know you got this from her, and I know you got this from her. And she's just like, fucking don't play dumb. She's so frustrated at this point that she's like, you know all of this stuff because I know all of this stuff, and I don't even know. But they kept just asking her questions to see exactly what she did know.
They were manipulating, right? They were, imagine this. Patty's dead at this point, and they know that.
Like,
they
there's
know
no
that.
question.
They had a week.
Mm-hmm.
A week.
Yeah.
To dispose of this body. So I'd like to kind of go into this investigation after this conversation, right? After the sister talks to the husband and fuck it, Brian and the wife,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, read Austin's comment.
Yeah.
I know if Dylan would have called Sturge and someone else answered, Dylan would have kept them on the line as he drove over ready for battle. Yeah. And you want to explain?
No, like he's dead on there. Like the part that confuses me, which it might have just been state of shock for her sister, was that she just didn't show up.
Well, okay, I'll say I have a quick thing. So her sister was also
Quickly,
in charge
quickly.
of her daughter. So is she gonna find someone to like watch over McKaylee? Like she can't just
Yeah,
she's
right.
not gonna bring her daughter. Plus, she now knows that there are at least 2 people there who are being intentionally misleading and also aware of the situation. So if she just drives over there, is she walking herself into a trap where like they know that she's coming over, and if they're already in on it, is she just going to get herself murdered too?
Right.
Like I could see in a state of shock, like not knowing what to do, but I think if her sister like had gone over there, it could have been worse because she could not have found anything. If anything, she might have stumbled on a situation that she didn't need to, and she could have been another victim.
Mhm.
Right. And Austin, that might be the bullish idiocy of males. We would have just ran in, not looking at every situation like, oh, I got to save my friend.
Yeah,
So
like
I'd like to transfer this a little bit. So let's get into, the police know that she's not been there
Right.
for a week. The sister's calling the cops. Like
Yeah.
they're sitting in there. Like, what do you know? We've got a best friend from Honda that doesn't even know the fucking sister, telling the same fucking story that the other person's saying. So
Yep.
they're like, all right, let's figure out who the boyfriend is.
Yep.
Because nobody actually knew at this point who the boyfriend was. So they go in there, start doing interviews. They're like, who is it?
Well,
What?
they did have some suspicion, or at least some of the Honda people.
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
that's
That's
what
what I'm
he's
saying.
saying.
Like they hear from the sister and the best friend.
Yeah.
Who is it? Well, we're not quite sure, right? You know what I'm saying? Like they got the phone number, but they go into Honda and everyone they talk to, they know.
Yeah.
I already fucking know because like she's not on her top of her game on the line.
No.
She's always over here taking a long walk around Honda
Yep.
with this guy. So they get a court order. They get a court order to go ahead and just bombard the house, do a search warrant, do the whole fucking 9 yards. And
Well,
they start look. Go ahead.
so at first, when they got the name of the boyfriend, they just went over to talk to him. They didn't have a search warrant. They didn't have anything, but he was like, I don't know what's going on, but like, feel free to search my house, like search my business.
Yeah.
So they didn't even have to go through the courts. He was kind of pretending like,
fucked
I've
up
got nothing to hide, so you can fucking look
first
at
of all,
everything.
I
And that's
fucked up. They actually didn't get a search
you're
warrant,
fine.
but they would have been able to for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
So they
they
go in,
totally
they go
would've.
into his property, they go to his business, and they go to his house and they find a birthday card, a t-shirt from Hard Rock. Remember
Letters.
Hard Rock? You guys
Letters.
remember that? And money bands.
Yep.
They're like, what are these fucking money bands? So they get remember what we talked about.
Yep. $90,000.
There's a reason we're jumping back and forth here. There's
Yes.
$90,000 of missing money here. Here's the money band. Okay. How can you explain this? Here's the thing. He's a manipulator. He thinks he's smarter than everyone. Fuck you, Brian. You think you're smarter than everybody. Everyone knows that you did it, buddy. And so he's like, oh, it was my birthday. I have no idea who that is. She just bought me a birthday card.
And
That was his response.
right. Which is
Who
crazy
the fuck
because
wants a fucking birthday card to somebody they barely
The
know?
thing that gets me the most is the sister told them the exact shirt
Yes.
they would find.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we go back in time, and you guys
real quick.
remember. Go ahead.
circling back to the card before we get to the shirt, him saying like, oh, it was just a coworker birthday card. Well, they had like over 1,000 people working at the Honda plant. So if it was like a company birthday card, other people would have signed it. Like
And
not
never saw it.
even, and there
Nobody
was no other signatures. Like
Well,
if
then they go
even if
look
they
at
couldn't get everyone on shift, they weren't even on the same line. So there would be no reason for her to get a birthday card together for him who worked in a different department unless there was some sort of personal connection.
So there's also other things that happen during this search, right? I don't know if they come back later for the concrete search, but at
Yeah.
some point there's a fresh concrete laid.
Yeah.
On the property, there's a random spot of concrete. A lot of times when you buy concrete from a truck, they'll have a little bit extra. But there's just a random spot of concrete. A cadaver dog comes in, hits on it. They go, they find nothing. But here's the thing. They start investigating, and they investigate the business. Dylan, you said they investigated the home and the business. They absolutely investigated the business. They also realized, actually, one of his workers for the business fucked up. They're like, well, there's a tonneau cover up there that he just put upstairs. And they're like, what fucking tonneau cover? So they realized in June 26, 2001, the boyfriend orders the tonneau cover for pickup.
That is a business asset.
Which is a business asset. He brings it back. They install the tonneau cover. After I think it was, so she went missing, and then the very next day the tonneau cover comes off. They put it back up in storage. The police take the tonneau cover. They take it back to the shop. They find Patty's cat's hair on the fucking tonneau cover. But that's not a fucking enough to arrest the bastard. Because they're like, well, they work together. Well, they work together, but they worked nowhere fucking near each other.
And they also worked nowhere near her fucking cats.
That's what, right?
Like I know owning cats, I bring my hair with me to work. I do my best.
Shame
but
on
like
you,
she doesn't, like, at least in like international train zones, and depending on what kind of environment they were in, a manufacturing thing, when you change into your work clothes, you leave your house clothes, or like you wear a clean suit.
Here's how the cat hair got back there. She fucking climbed back in the truck.
Right, exactly. That's how the cat hair
was saying.
Sorry.
Normally, factories like this, they have their own personal lockers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this day, she did not go and change after she clocked out. She left wearing her work uniform.
Here's where I'm going to go at it. And you know what? I'm sorry to anyone that thinks like otherwise, but you how the fuck do you not arrest this guy after the fact that you find a fucking cat hair from? It's not, dude. I've seen and witnessed people go to prison for way fucking less. Yeah. Way fucking less. So not only that, they find a speck of blood on this fucking tonneau cover.
Yep.
Guess what? It's still sitting in evidence. Fucking run the blood. Because it's either going to be Patty's, or it's going to be his, or it's going to be the friends.
I think one of the hard things is, like, we've talked about different serial killer evidence, and there's like a larger sample, and sometimes law enforcement has to weigh the pros and cons of such a small sample. Like, at this point, technology has advanced to a point where you need a progressively smaller sample in order to try and evaluate it. But at the time, and at the time at 2001, the sample was so small, there was a huge risk of having to run the entirety of the sample, and it's still coming back inconclusive, and that would have destroyed it.
Okay, it's 24 years. 20
at this point, it's like the case 26? We did last Friday.
2025 or 6.
25.
It's 26.
So, in my opinion, it's like the case we did last week, where the dad asked, just run it one more time with the updated technology, and if it comes back nothing, I know you did everything you could.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the fucking fuck up thing. I don't even need the fucking blood stain. How about the fucking cat hair? The
Mhm.
purchase of the tonneau cover. The fact that she told her sister, her fucking best friend. How about the fucking birthday card? How about the fucking shirt that you talk
The
about?
letters
That the fucking sister said you're gonna find a shirt at his house. Guess what they
Yep.
fucking found?
in his
The
closet.
shirt.
No, this is what I'm saying. Do fucking better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking men out there that manipulate women every fucking day to get their way for sex. Right?
Mhm.
For
They get
him,
$90,000
it was
all in
straight up
cash.
a thrill.
Fuck you, Brian, douche.
Well,
And I think he's been. Well, we can't go. On.
Yeah,
I think I definitely see both sides because
I don't see both sides. I see one
I
side.
know. Well, because here's
I
the thing.
bet, though.
Because defense attorneys, because everything is circumstantial evidence, because there's no body and theoretically no motive.
Then
Like,
how
if
did
he
the
was-
sister and the friend that did not know each other come up with the same fucking story?
No, I totally agree.
Ooh,
But
I
that
disagree
is
with you,
still
Michaela.
circumstantial evidence, though.
I disagree
The
with you.
fact that the fucking cat hairs on the tonneau cover. Here, let's
Well,
all
no,
be honest together
that
here.
is-
The police are fucking up here.
But that is legally circumstantial evidence.
Well, here's where I think it becomes circumstantial.
Yeah.
There's cat hair. There's letters. There's a card.
There's
The
a shirt.
shirt. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden, she has 90 grand missing. You find
Mhm.
vans, and there was an upgrade to the business.
No, I fully agree with you. Like, I'm not even arguing for
Cut
his
Michaela's
innocence.
mic. Michaela's fucking agreeing with
No,
Brian
I
here.
agree.
I'm over it.
I am not a murderer, kidnapper sympathist, but I have watched a lot of lawyer dramas.
Right. I agree everything separate is circumstantial. But when you combine all that stuff together, you have enough to build a case.
You have enough. So here's the thing: it's still all circumstantial. Like, when you're a prosecutor, you need physical evidence, you need a murder weapon, and you need a body. Well, you can try, but defense attorneys can also try just as hard.
Here's what I'll do, Michaela.
Here's the thing: what if they lose? Then
They're
he
not
can
going
never
to.
be tried for
Okay,
it. But
if I'm a prosecutor, I'm going to bring 999 fucking employees that saw them fucking fucking each other for the last 4 months. I'm going to bring the guy, the teller that gave her 90 grand over the last 9 fucking months. I'm going to bring in the employee that saw him put a tonneau cover on and then take it off 2 fucking days later. Listen,
I'm going to investigate the friend that took her to work. How the fuck are you getting home, bitch?
Right, that's true, right?
Well, I
No,
I know.
What a bad call, bad call.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. I do see what you're saying.
Bad call though.
What's the bad call?
Friend calling her a bitch.
No, I'm saying if I took you to work and you said, I don't need you to take me home. But how you getting home, bitch?
But here, let's role play here. If you ask me how you getting home, I'm going underneath the fresh tonneau cover.
But she couldn't say that. Like, she's like, I'll find it.
She did tell her that.
You see what I'm saying?
Her friend literally told the police. Yeah, I know that that's how they knew she got under a tonneau cover. The sister and the friend both told them that.
But if I took you to work and you said I'm not riding home with you, I would look at you and say, how are you getting home, bitch?
I'm going under a fresh tonneau cover.
And that's what I meant by that. I wasn't calling her an actual bitch. But then you'd be like,
what are you talking about?
Exactly.
But hold on. If you were trying to hide your relationship from your coworkers, you'd be like, oh, I've already got another ride home figured out. Like, I've already got another right.
And the sister that she was going to hide. How do you think they knew that?
Well,
yeah, she did tell them she was hiding in the back of the truck.
She told both of them. And here's the funny thing: they didn't even know each other. The sister and the friend didn't even know each other, and they both told the same fucking story. Fuck you, Brian.
No, I didn't mean anything negative towards her.
Douche.
I was just saying the interactions I would have to you if we rode together.
I'd like to see Brian fucking shove me in a tonneau cover.
You don't like trunks.
I'll do. Hey, put me in. Listen, that guy's a douchebag. You know what's fucked up? Here's what's fucked up. She had a whole life ahead of her. If you think
I
about it,
know.
you just
She was
close your
29
eyes.
when she
She's
had a
29
daughter,
years old. When she
29
had,
years old.
close your
Yeah.
eyes and think about it. The plan that she thought that this man would give her, the life,
Mhm.
right? Hey, give me
And
all
she
that
was
money, baby.
she
Give
was
me all that
so
fucking money,
happy.
baby. I
Yeah.
need to buy my
Like,
wife out because she's
looking
gonna
at
take me
her.
for everything. Here's what really happened. The husband fucking knew, the wife fucking knew,
The friend knew.
the friend
Friends
fucking
going
knew.
to Burger King fucking knew.
Here, let me pop you 10 grand cash right now. How do you get 10 grand cash? Don't worry about it. I'm about to make this bitch disappear. That's what they're fucking. I don't think she's a bitch, but that's the way they're fucking talking because he's a piece of
Yeah.
shit.
Yep.
Yeah. Like,
That's that.
so part of my thinking of like why they planned this trip and why she disappeared is so they were together for about a year and he started asking for like little bits here and there, but then eventually she had run out of all of the resources that she could liquidate in order to give to her boyfriend. So I think this disappearance happened at a point where she had nothing left to give except her love.
Yeah,
And that's when he realized that
we
cool,
missed.
I've milked this cash cow to the extent that I can,
We missed
and
something.
now
Really
it's
important.
time to make her disappear.
We actually missed something really fucking important,
Ooh,
and I'm
what did
embarrassed. So the friend and the sister both knew. Patty went to him and said,
yeah.
"I
The
have to start paying
friend
it
who
back.
gave her
I have to start paying this back because when you borrow from your retirement, guess what? You have
Mhm.
to pay it back. You have
Yeah.
to pay the taxes after you do it, right? You pay the
You
penalty,
pay tax
then you
penalty.
pay those
on it.
taxes, then you have to pay it the fuck back. So she's like, "Hey, look, I have to start getting this money back." Well, now
And
Brian
it's coming
is
out
like,
of her paycheck.
yeah, oh fuck, what do I do now? What do I do now? I gotta pay her. I gotta pay her back 90 grand. He don't have it. Why? Because he's a
Because it
broke
was under the guise of being alone. Like
fucking
she was like, I'm loaning you this money to help you buy yourself out of the business. But then when Patty has to start paying it back, and she's like, don't worry about it. It could be a long-term loan. Like
Mhm.
it's all fine. But then she was like, hey, like
You
shit's
know,
come home to
she
roost.
told him that a week before this happened. She told him a week before that he was going to have to start paying this back.
Start paying, yeah. At the very least, the interest and like the payments that she was going to have to start paying, like you don't have to pay on the principal, but can you at least help me subsidize what I'm having to pay
Why
against
don't
all of
Brad?
this stuff?
Yeah. Hey, Brian, what'd you do with the money? I'm curious.
Yeah.
Put it into that business.
I don't think it
And
was, man. I think they lived a.
I think they
a
have
life-
a little squirrel, like a little nut nest.
I
Like,
think
'cause it's all cash.
they're. So I read reports that friends even said that they were living a lavish lifestyle. It's not that hard to spend 90 grand. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not that fucking hard.
No, we could do that in a heartbeat.
I mean, I would literally live a lavish lifestyle. And here's the thing, guys. 2001. This has gone on too far. Way too fucking long. Somebody knows something outside of the suspect, outside of the friend, outside of the wife. That's three people. And I think that somebody knows something. And most crimes can be solved by that person that knows something.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong?
You're not wrong.
No, not wrong.
So, what do you think? Let's go through. Michaela, what do you think happened?
So I think being a single mother who's been unlucky in love, I think. Do we know the age of the boyfriend? That was another something that I wasn't able to find.
He was an old bastard.
Like how old? And do we know for sure? Because
Can we just say no? Can we say no? Because we don't know the facts.
yeah, we can say no. So like
he was older. He had kids
that's
and a
my
wife.
guess is that he's older. So my guess
30s to 40s.
Yeah, so she's 29. My guess is he's probably at least 10 years older than her. between 5 and 10, but I'm leaning on the tenor side of it all. I think she's a single mom. She's worked here since she was 19. Since he's older, he's probably worked there just as long. I think he, throughout the course of their, and this is getting real fucking tinfoil hat, but I think he threw the curse. Oh my God. Too much whiskey.
My
I got it. Okay. I got thoughts in my brain. Through the course of them working together, I think that he groomed her to a certain extent, and not because she was underage, but just to the point of, like, if you work with someone for 10 years, you get like a little comment here and there. He's like sowing the seeds. And maybe this wasn't his end game, but I feel like he was attracted to her and worked to
She was a
give
good
her.
looking woman.
She was a very good looking woman.
Yeah, she's so beautiful. And I think that it got to a point where he was willing to, quote unquote, put his marriage in danger to start courting her. And because she had also been there for so long and he had probably been there longer, he knew exactly what her assets were in terms of like 401k, union things. Like he knew like raise structure, like what their payroll scale was. And she also owned her own home at one point, which that's something that you talk about with your coworkers. You're like, yeah, I bought a house. It's for me and my daughter. So I just feel like he saw enough of her life to know exactly how to manipulate her. And even if they weren't interacting in the early years of her employment there, if she worked herself up to be a supervisor, that's something that you take notice of, even in like a large company. Because I used to date someone who worked in similarly an international trade zone. And even though they didn't know everyone who was working there, they worked in a department that oversaw and interacted with a lot of different ones. So at some point, he came across her as a human and recognized her as someone who was a single mom, down on her luck, and was really looking for love, and saw her as an easy mark.
All right. So, Dylan, what do you think?
Do we want to hit Austin's comment or just?
I want to hit what you think happened.
I think, they had already spent the 90 grand. They had no way to pay it back. The friend got paid off, and they got rid of her. The wife knew about everything, and because of all the money,
you just hit Austin Smith's question, right? Who would have be your
friend.
best guess that would know something?
The friend knows what happened.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
So here's what I think happened. I think this was planned, right? So I think a week prior to shutdown, I think the friend went to his best friend at work and said, "Hey, this fucking bitch has got to go." Like the wife and I, you know, we spent 90 grand of this woman's money. I cannot pay it back. And so he's like, all right, I'll do it. Here's 10 grand, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it was. It could have been $800. Who fucking knows? There's a lot of shit guys don't know.
You're my alibi. We sat in Burger King for 45 fucking minutes.
How much did you say your car payment was? 400. Here's 400.
Well, honestly, here's $1,600. Yeah. Here's your car payment for the next 4 fucking months. Don't fucking worry about it.
We talk about who would know something. Well, here's my thought process. So that, you know, they do away with it. The wife, I don't give a fuck. She knew. Women are not stupid. They're so brilliant. They're so fucking smart. They know. There's also a lot of piece of shit women out there, right?
Yep.
They know what's going on. They know you're laying the pipe, but they want the money. So who gives a fuck? Do what you got to do. Oh, she needs the money back. We don't have the money. Right. So figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the fucking money to pay you back. So then you get a hold of the friend. Do you think that friend kept that secret to himself all of his fucking life? No fucking way. That friend has friends that doesn't even know those people. He got drunk one night, shared the fucking story of Patti Adkins. I guarantee. outside of Brian, his wife, and that friend, and unfortunately Brian or Patti Adkins, who's dead. Somebody knows something.
Yeah.
Somebody has fucking heard something. I'm sorry, Marysville police officers. The sister told you the story. The fucking friend told you the story. You found a bunch of fucking shit. Do your job. Really fucking
Well,
sad.
I think
Really
also
fucking sad.
touching on the wife too. The wife knew enough to at least be able to like give the sister some peace of mind, so she didn't immediately call the police. She was like, "Oh yeah, he's coming back soon, but he's not here yet." So she knew that the sister wanted confirmation that she called the right place, wanted confirmation that he wasn't there, but that he would be back soon. And that was enough to let her sister have that little bit of peace of mind until it started compounding again. So, like, again,
It turned into a
touching on the
fucking snowball.
manipulation. Yeah, exactly.
It's really, really sad. So I never thought this would go an hour and 15 on such a very little
There's so
detail
much
that we
about
have.
it, though.
There is so much, but there's so little, right? There's a lot of speculation. So we're gonna end it here. We're gonna end it the fact that I think this case is solved because somebody knows something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a fuck if he was your friend. This sweet girl that lost her fucking mom over 90 grand. That's what it was about. What's the roots of all evil?
Money.
That's what killed her. That's what fucking killed her.
And in 2023, the police department even re-released a statement saying, like, this is still an open, active case. If you have any information, like, they're still trying to find her.
Maybe you saw them at a Bob Evans one time, hearing them talk.
Yeah, like, be brave, fucking speak up.
Forward.
This needs to be figured out.
And this, I don't know if you guys have watched the interviews with the daughter. She was like going to school, like college, and you can see the pain in her eyes.
Well, so
yeah,
I want to hit on that a little bit. It's going to be so much pain because this is such a world, or I would say a United States event. Every year on the anniversary or close to it, that's all you see. Like we were talking about it. It was on TikTok. People were talking about it all the time. It was on the news.
If you
it's shared so many places to this day.
And if you know something and you haven't said anything in 20 something years, fuck you. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Well, and even just putting it in the context of my life, like my sister has a niece, or my sister has a daughter. It's my niece. I would 100% like watch my niece for a vacation. Like I would love to have that time to spend with her. And just imagine spending a week with someone that you love so much and then realizing that their mom is never going to go home. Like how do you tell that to that kid? How do you have that conversation of like, we actually don't know where your mom is?
Yeah.
Like we actually have no fucking idea what happened to her. And imagine the trauma that happened to McKaylee and how she has to come to terms with the fact that she doesn't know where her mom is. Nobody does. And she's declared legally deceased at this point, but they don't even know that she actually is.
But shame on you if you know something.
Yeah.
Shame fucking on you.
Agreed.
You got a sister, a best friend, a daughter. Let's not listen. That's just 3 people. What about the mom, the fucking dad, the cousins, the other friends outside of work? This here is a solvable case that's not been solved in over 23 years.
So, Sturge, correct me if I'm wrong here. That concrete slab's never been dug up.
It was dug up.
So, it was. So yeah, that was one thing that we kind of missed. So
we hit on it. I said the cadaver dog hit on it. They dug it up. But Michaela, you're right. Nothing came of it.
Yeah, like cadaver dog woof woofed, and they dug it up, but nothing came of it. Because what's the span of time between a dog going woof and the police actually getting together something like a digging task force that can do it?
So it's actually
Because
kind of interesting because
yeah.
I just saw dogs this week. They're drug dogs.
Mhm.
And so I'm sitting in an academy and we're watching we watch 6 dogs go through. They actually stuff drugs in these people's pockets. I
Mhm.
watched one, I watched them miss. I watched a couple dogs miss them. I also watched a couple dogs sniff out something that was never there. So here's the thing: dogs do make mistakes.
They do.
So it
Oh,
is possible
totally.
they sniffed that concrete. But here's what I think is odd about that concrete: they didn't sniff on the big giant
The
16 by
big pad.
10 pad
Mhm.
that was
It
poured.
was the
They hit
little,
on the random spot in the middle of a fucking yard.
and part of me thinks so. I want
You
to
know
touch
they
on
didn't miss it,
Austin's
though.
comment, but
Yeah,
I
go
want
ahead.
to circle back to the concrete. I think that there is a big likelihood that wherever she is buried, he used maybe like a similar concrete, or like, if I know this is big tinfoil hat, but like if you dispose of a body, like you could mix in bits. Like if you put it through a wood chipper or something, like why is there one small bit of concrete
Random,
and it's
random piece
random?
of concrete.
And if you burn a body and then you crush it up and mix it in concrete and then just put like a little fucking plot on your yard and you dig under that
But here's the thing
concrete,
about
obviously
concrete:
you're not gonna find a body.
you don't pour concrete unless you put 2x4s and you frame out the section.
Exactly.
This was just
Exactly.
a
And it's
randomly
just a
poured
little
piece
bit.
of concrete.
Oh, it
So
just
how do
spilled?
well, let's just say he's like, fuck it, just pour the rest right here, whatever. How do
Yeah.
you know the dead
No,
body?
you wouldn't.
That's a
Here's the
cadaver
thing,
dog.
you
If
just
you lay the
wouldn't.
dead body on
Yeah.
top of something, it smells the dead body. It may have only laid there 10 seconds, but that
Right.
dog is going to pick the fact that a dead body laid on it.
I mean,
So
maybe they put her in a cement mixer to kill her.
how about this? Test the fucking blood.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe just test the blood. So I want to touch on
Test
Austin's
the fucking
comment.
blood.
Maybe she took the 90K and disappeared. That is definitely one of the theories that has come about. Although counterpoints to that is she was fully dedicated to her daughter, and even the police dismissed that as a viable potential because she was not a mother who would have abandoned her child. And if she were going to, then it would have
Yeah,
been
come back.
when she disappeared with her boyfriend. Like if the
Yeah,
two of them had disappeared, then I could see maybe she bled her finances, took the 90K, then maybe he came back. He was like, "We're gonna run away together. Give me all your money." And then when they did go to run away together, that's when he killed her and then just came back. I could see that. But I don't think that she would have been someone who would have left her daughter and left her pets behind in that way.
I mean, she got her pets taken care of for a week.
Right.
A
Like they
week.
were in a kennel. She
Yeah.
didn't take them to the pound. It's a paid per day, per week, whatever situation. So, despite whatever like good circumstances and what good environment there was at the kennel, if no one comes to pick up the pets after a while at a kennel, they do send them to the pound.
Right.
And if
Which
you're
they
going
can
to
be
have like a golden retriever and cats, like you obviously love animals. And if I were going to, and again, this is just speaking from my point of privilege, like if I were going to run away, I would not kennel my pets. I would give them to a trusted family member and then I would disappear. I wouldn't leave them in something that would like cost a bunch of
their
money
life,
or if I never
you
showed
could
up.
potentially cost them to die. You could,
Right.
they go to a pound, nobody adopts them. Guess what they do? It's
Right.
sad.
Well, and
They
if
kill 'em.
because the kenneling is usually a third party, like a private business. But if nobody picks up the pets, then the kennel turns them over to a local pound.
Yeah. So there's a lot of listen, guys. There's a lot of questions that regard this case, and
Mama's.
what I want you,
Never heard of
mamas.
I know. She's like, you won't send me to the pound, right?
Yeah, you're getting sent. You're getting sent.
She's
No,
like,
I'll
wait,
buy.
you don't have to leave.
Yeah, she's like, you may not
But
leave.
it's hard to believe that somebody can hold this and continue with their life. I think we look at these things, we share this episode, we share your guys' thoughts. If there's hundreds and hundreds of people in this local area that are willing to share this case. It's solvable. This case is solvable. End of fucking story. Somebody knows something. They're holding it back.
Yeah.
It can be solved. So, guys, it's Sip and Solve Friday. We love to do it. It's another unsolved case. We love to do that even more because it's so intriguing. But what I want to see is this episode shared. Don't share the episode. I don't give a shit. But share the fact that Patty's still missing. Because that's what it's all fucking about. That's what this whole episode's about. Is to give that baby, who is now an adult, some fucking closure. She's legally dead. Guess what? They don't even have a fucking burial site.
Nope.
That's really fucking sad. Fuck you, Brian. Really douchebag move on your ass.
She disappeared in 2001. She would be 51 right now. She disappeared when she was 29.
And you know what's fucked up? 51 ain't that old.
No,
She's
it's
got
not.
her whole life ahead of her.
But that means that her daughter is now an adult who had to grow up with the uncertainty of, like, did my mom abandon me? Was she murdered? Where is she?
And all because of a douchebag man.
With a fucking cover that was there for 2 whole days.
Yeah. Not a truck that he never drove, by the way.
Yeah, that was a business asset. And we forgot to touch on this real quick. I know.
Go ahead.
But due to the business that they were in, one of their employees said this was not, like, the cover is not something that would benefit their business at all. It was actually a hindrance because they had a lot of taller stuff. So for him to get that kind of cover installed on a business asset on the business truck was actually something that stuck out as weird because it would not be helpful, even though it was
I think Michaela's on something here because they even asked the person that told him about the tonneau cover. He's like, I don't know why the fuck you'd buy that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I have no idea why that would be.
We're hauling fucking cars. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, it makes no sense that is something that happened.
So
that was something that was purchased and installed.
Ian Sparrow just asked, "Where's Brian, his wife, and friends now?" I shouldn't use the name Brian, but he is a douchebag. From the research that I've done, they are divorced. The wife's never said anything, and the friend we have no clue about. We don't even know the name of the friend. We just know that the police, even Stiers said on the episode that he went to Burger King. We know those things. But what we can do is share this case and say, let's fucking solve it.
Oh, 100%.
Let's fucking solve it. So, guys, we're at an hour and 27. I think we said an hour on this, baby. Like,
we said it was going to be short.
I know, we were like, it's not going to be 2
2
hours. And we're like, well, but we could speculate more.
We can speculate more, but we're not going to anymore because this case right here, I think it's solvable. Share the fuck out of it. Yeah. Let's figure it out. So we're gonna do what we always do on Big Sturge.
Justice League.
I'm Michaela.
We are American Whiskey.